Unit 8. 2 horses. Pre-reading questions. Think about the answers to these questions. 1. Why did the people listen to Degenoida when they saw him in the stone canoe? 2. Why do you think Hiawatha dreamed bad dreams for a long time? 3. Why do you think the chief of the Onondaga tribe was so ugly? 4. Do you know any traditional stories that explain how something happened?
2 heroes. How peace came to the people of the Great Lakes. Long ago, 5 tribes lived on the east of the Great Lakes of North America. For years they had been at war. Within the tribes, villages fought against villages. Families argued and there were fights in their homes. There was no peace and no one was safe. On the other side of the lakes an old woman slept. As she slept she dreamed that her daughter had a son. His name was Degenoida. She dreamed that one day he would take a message of peace to the tribes across the water. Everything happened as she had dreamed. Her daughter had a son. They named him Degenoida. He grew up to be a brave, wise, and gentle boy. When he became a man, he talked to his grandmother and his mother. He told them that he wanted to bring peace to the 5 nations. They agreed to let him go. Degenoida set off across the lake. He paddled a white stone canoe to the opposite shore. When the people saw him floating in a boat made of stone they were amazed. They listened to his words and at once they agreed to put down their weapons and live peacefully. Degenoida traveled on to the next village, then the next and the next. Everywhere he went he brought words of peace and the people put down their weapons. At last he came to the Mohawk tribe. The chief was Hiawatha. He was a fierce warrior but he was not angry at the stranger's arrival. "I have been dreaming bad dreams for many months," he said. "I cannot sleep at night but I do not know why." Hiawatha called his people together and Degenoida spoke to them. "You must lay down your weapons," he told them. "People should not kill each other. If we do not keep our bows and arrows and our axes," said one warrior, "our neighbors will kill us." "They have already put their weapons aside," said Degenoida. "They are at peace." "Then we will do the same," said Hiawatha. Before Degenoida left, he gave Hiawatha a warning. "The chief of the Onondagas lives above the lake. He will not listen to me. He is powerful and he can harm anyone who listens to me." In the months after Degenoida left, Hiawatha's 3 daughters died and no one knew why. Hiawatha was filled with sadness. He believed that the evil chief was the cause and he went to look for Degenoida. During a long and dangerous journey Hiawatha fought wild bears and wolves. At last he found Degenoida and he spoke to Hiawatha wisely and kindly. Hiawatha's sadness grew less. He decided that he too would spread the message of peace. He left Degenoida and traveled to village after village spreading peace across the land. At last, only one man had not listened and changed his ways, the evil chief of the Onondaga tribe. Degenoida and Hiawatha traveled together to the mountains. In a cave high above the lake they found the chief. To Hiawatha's horror he was more of a monster than a man. His face was hideous and there were snakes in his hair. They talked to him for many hours. At last, Hiawatha said, "I was like you. My heart was full of fear and hate but I have changed. I believe the message of peace." The chief smiled, "Now so do I," he said. As he spoke, his ugliness disappeared and Hiawatha gently pulled the snakes from his hair. They returned together down the mountain to a place where all the tribes were waiting. Deganoida spoke of his plan to make one great nation. He told them of the laws they should keep. The tribes agreed, and at the end of the meeting they buried all their weapons. Deganoida planted a tree there, and it was known as the Great Tree of Peace. Then Deganoida went away, leaving Hiawatha in his place. Order the sentences. Deganoida grew up to be a brave, wise and gentle boy. Deganoida and Hiawatha spoke to the hideous chief. Hiawatha's 3 daughters died. An old woman dreamed that her daughter had a son.
Deganoida paddled across the lake in a stone canoe. Deganoida planted the Great Tree of Peace. 5 tribes lived near the Great Lakes of North America. The tribes buried all their weapons. Hiawatha went to look for Deganoida. When the people saw the stone canoe, they listened to Deganoida. Listen and read. Mel, oh, look. I'm in the school play. Jack, congratulations. So am I. Mel, it's a good play, isn't it? Jack, yes, I like it a lot. Mel, me, too. Jack, have you got a big part? Mel, no, I only say a few words. Jack, so do I. I'm not in the first scene. Mel, neither am I. Jack, and I don't appear in the last scene. Mel, neither do I. But I don't mind having a small part. Jack, really? Mel, to tell the truth, I'm not very good at acting. Jack, me neither. Listen and say. My heart is pounding and my knees are weak. My mouth is dry and I cannot speak. Waiting in the dark for the curtain to rise. My hands are shaking and my feet are lead. The words spin round inside my head. Waiting in the dark for the curtain to rise. I want to run away and hide from the people on the other side. But here's the music, it's time to begin. And the curtain's beginning to rise. Choose the best word to complete each sentence. One color, nothing above, money, month, wonderful, front, love, sun. 1 The clouds are in the sky, our heads. 2 You need to buy things. 3 A boy child is a. 4 When you come first in a race, you have. 5 The opposite of hate is. 6 Our holiday in London was. 7 Blue is my mom's favorite. 8 Anna usually sits at the of the class. 9 Ben opened the box but there was inside it. 10 November is the 11th. Above. Acting. Against. Amazed. Argued. Arrival. Arrows. Aside. Axes. Bears. Bows. Brave. Buried. Message. Mind. Monster. Mountains. Nations. Native. Neighbor. Notion. Opposite. Paddle. Part. Piece. Pounding. cause, chief, curtains, disappeared, don't mind, dream, evil, fear, fierce, floating, fought, gentle, harm, hate, heart, run away, sadness, seen, shore, side, smiled, snakes, spin, spread, stone canoe, stranger, tell the truth, tribe, rise, round, hide, hideous, horror, kindly, lakes, laws, legend, meanwhile, meeting, ugliness, villages, warning, warrior, weapons, wise, wisely, within, wolves,